Hello, hello, hello. Whoops, sorry, made noise. Hi, Jackie. Jackie, I thought I gave you permission. I'll do it again. Jackie, go ahead and try commenting again. Let's see if you turn blue and you get that little highlighter on the little wrench. Got headphones on. I gotta turn them off. How's everybody doing so far? It's just the three of us, so how are we all doing right now? Teresa, how are you feeling today? Oh, it's Teresa. She's still blue. That's good. That's good. That's good. I'm good. It's allergy season down. Well, you know me, I always have allergies, but we've got that Saharan dust that's come through, and then everything with everything being rained and wet and stuff, it's just full of allergies down here now. Plug these. I use these headphones all the time during the day when I'm sewing, so I can watch things on my little tablet. Been using these since like 8 o'clock this morning, so they need a good charge. I've been waiting to come on and go live, and now all of a sudden I go live and I'm like, I'm all fidgety and I need to do this, this, and this. Hi, Charlotte. How's your weather in Oklahoma? I hear some places are starting to cool down and they're starting to get a little autumn weather. I'd love a little autumn weather. We won't see cooler until closer to Thanksgiving. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks, Judy. I went ahead. We're going to start. We don't start until 3 o'clock. I like to come on a little early just to chit chat, but I have everything all stitched together. And while waiting, I put together a couple other bags. So I'd like to show you guys what I've been working on. And since I had so much fun doing the other dog bag, which I can't show you because I've already mailed it out, you have to wait till next Whip It Wednesday. I've already spilled a glass of water. I just thought I spilled something else. So I put together this doggy bag because that other dogs, they were just so cute. I have a few different dog fabrics, so then I put this one. Couldn't figure out which fabric to use for this one, but I really like the way this color works. And this one, not everyone's a fan of green. We know Saslet does not like green. Oh, there, Jackie, now you're all nice and blue. Hi, Judy. But I thought the green would be grass, and it also pulls out the little paw prints and the green everywhere else. So I thought that would be pretty good. Now these will have, I was doing these as a test to see how large I need the bottom to be, and they'll have about this much, I'm guessing, on the bottom. I think that's enough right there to highlight the bottom of the bag, don't you? Just a little highlight and then the novelty print up top. These will end up being about 16 inches wide, give or take. I know, yeah, this teal, I really love this type of a teal color. And it's a little bit brighter. Well, on my computer monitor, it looks a little dull. And then the phone always washes it out. But it's a pretty close match. It's not identical, but it has some of the colors that are in here. It pulls it all out nicely. So those are my next bags that I'm going to be working on. I'm trying to get a little list in my notebook that if I cut my fabric at this size, it'll turn into a bag this size, so I don't have to keep guessing. Because I had a repeat customer that wanted a bag just basically like the one she'd already purchased, And I'm like, gee, I have no idea what size I made it. I tried to watch the video back when I showed it on a Whip It Wednesday. And then I just tried to reverse engineer it based on the measurements I had in Etsy. But I don't know, I think I made it a little, it's close, but I think I made it a little bit bigger. Hey, bigger bags are nice. It gives you more room to put stuff in, right? So then I was thinking today that since I have little strips about, so this is the dog fabric that I just made the bag out of. So I have these little bits like this of this fabric. So I was thinking maybe I should make zipper pouches to go with it. I could make the wallets, but I don't know, to have the outside of the wallet and then to get all the pocket fabrics and stuff like that. I could do that, but it's just so quick and easy to make a zipper fabric, zipper coin pouches. So I thought that might be a nice added touch to go with some of the totes, maybe not all of them. So that will be, I spent all day thinking it was Saturday. It felt like a Saturday today. Not that I go live on Saturdays, but it just felt like a Saturday. Hello from Kentucky. Shh, I won't tell anyone. Turn the volume down because Robin's got a big mouth. She might get a little loud. We're glad you can join us. Oh, I put my tote bag back for anyone that's popping in. Flip it over to this side. I thought, I'm going to show this again. You guys are going to see it twice, but I thought it came out so nice because the bottom of the bag, like we were hoping, it came out like right there so that these panels are basically sitting right on the table. So I thought that was really good. And then we've got that one strip down the side that I wanted. I did lose my points a little, but that's not that big of a deal. And this side has the flying geese on it, so this stripe will show. So I thought that worked out really well. And again, it's a quite a big tote. It is funny to see, until I go shopping and I buy like a bolt of muslin or something like that, I just been using the fabric that I know isn't going to be the most popular to sell in the shop or to do anything with. So I've been using that. Some of my I used up all of my thinner and my ugly fabric and stuff, so now I'm using some of the novelties up. Oh, that's still way too hot. Hello, Sally. Yeah, 93. That seems like they'd be hot in Oklahoma as you're going into September. I was watching the news the other day because I like to watch the news and the weather guy, and they were saying that September 1st is the meteorological first day of fall or autumn. I thought, well, that's cool. So fall's coming. It's got to get cool somewhere. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How many we got here now? Oh, we're getting up there. I hope everyone has had a great week. It was cool today because it rained last night around dinner time. It rained early this morning, and then it rained mid-morning, and now we're getting that steamy heat after the rain. Hello, Nancy. Pennsylvania, did you guys get a lot of the rain from the Hurricane Ida? I'm not sure if I heard Pennsylvania on the news. Ugh, that's hot. You guys, I don't care what they say, like, oh, it's a dry heat and stuff. It's Arizona. You're in Arizona, right? Arizona is just hot. It is way hot over there. It was bad. Yeah, I thought it might be. That was a horrible storm. And it's really hard over here because when it doesn't come to Florida, we're all excited and happy, but then it's like you're wishing that damage on another area. Yeah, we missed out on it, so it's like all celebrate and everyone's happy. but you're sending that storm over to someone else. Monsoon season. Whoa. Traditionally, September is our worst month for hurricanes. We could get hit with 3 or 4 of them all in the same month. So we're kind of, you know, finger crossed that there's 2 or 3 of them out there right now, and one of them is staying down below Cuba and just going to kind of ride over to Mexico, so that should be good. One of them's out in the Atlantic. It's going to be a major, they're saying something like 155, 165 mile an hour winds, but it's staying in the Atlantic and it's not going to hit the coast of America at all, so that is really good. Now, isn't a monsoon just a hurricane but on the other coast? Welcome to everyone that's popping in. We'll get started in just a couple of minutes. My little thingy is not updating. It just still shows that 2 people are waiting to join, so I have to go look over at the phone to see how many people are in the room. Yeah, New York, we see New York was on our news all the time because of all the basements and stuff, and they were showing, like, because a lot of people in New York City have the apartments down in the basement, like people live on the first floor and then they have tenants down in the basement and stuff. And those basement apartments, it was just pouring in the windows. You see down the roads, you're like, oh, it's a river. Nope, it's a road. The water was just so thick. Oh, it's your rainy season? Okay. Yeah, we're in the middle of rainy season here too, but we're not fancy. We don't have monsoon. We just have rainy season. The ground's pretty wet outside. Everything. Oh, my grass is growing beautifully. I've been having trouble with the grass for the last couple of years, but it is just filling in nice and lush. The new grass I put on the side where I have my hibiscus, a bunch of those patches that used to be those brown dirt patches, they've all cleaned up and everything. So that was really nice. Just give them a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. I have everything all set. I've prepped, I've got my lining, I've got my pocket and my zipper. I did the lining on this side is all ready, so I'm hoping we're going to sew this bag together today and get it all finished. So I put that little faux accent piping there so where the lining is just white and you make the lining of it larger. We've done that one before. So I made it a little bit bigger. I wanted to see how that looked. We're going to make the zipper pocket a little bit bigger today too. I'm just trying to zone in on, not the perfect size, you know, but the perfect size for my totes so that when I make them, they're all, I'll know, like every pocket's going to be this size. I will still make totes in a smaller size and a larger size. I'm really surprised that a 16.5-inch tote is like manageable. But just moving up to an 18.5-inch panel that you start with makes it feel so huge. Shouldn't be drinking through a metal straw right in your ear. But I've spilt my drink once today and I don't want to put it where I'm going to spill it again. Okay. First off, I want to, not necessarily apologize, but I want to apologize. I want to explain something about the Whip It Wednesday video. When I was talking about the differences between YouTube and Patreon, there was a handful of you that I think maybe misunderstood what I was trying to get a part of my point across. 100% my fault because I didn't myself very well. Excuse me. Sorry. But what I was trying to get a point across is that when you come to YouTube, when I make a YouTube video, I have this core group of you amazing people that leave comments, and you leave such sweet comments. You watch my videos every time they come up. You watch the videos, whether it's right away or later in the week. So I have this core group of subscribers and viewers. I just absolutely love you guys. So this is, you know, Robin's group right here, Robin's Scrappers, however you want to call them. But on YouTube, there's all these other people that just pop in and out. They may just want to watch the zipper tutorial and they never come back again. I get a lot of views. Thank goodness I get a lot of views on my older videos. People just checking out the different tutorials. So when I make a video on YouTube, I have to make it for the masses. I have have to make it, it's not going to be professional because I want to make it as professional as I can because I want it to look good. I want it to be a nice video, the best editing, but I always want it to feel like we're just hanging out together. So I never want to do any of the fancy stuff. So that's when I make a YouTube video. It has to be I have to be very structured with myself. I have to make sure I don't say certain things. You can't say certain things on YouTube. You want it to be less rambly because while you guys love rambly, these people just want the tutorial and run, so I have to find that balance. But when I go to Patreon, every single person that watches that Patreon video, whether it's today's video or the one from 2 or 3 years ago, they want to be there 100%. They came there on purpose. They're helping support me, so it's more of a relaxed environment. There's no stranger that's going to come into our group and just watch a few minutes and then leave. They're not going to complain about, Robin, you're rambling too much, or your videos you're too quiet, you're too loud, the colors are off, whatever people might say. So I know when I make a Patreon video, I can kind of slow down, have a little chit chat, and trust me, I make a lot of mistakes on YouTube, but I make 100 times more on Patreon, and it's okay because I can say, oh gosh darn it, we made this mistake. I can say different words, and it's a comfort level over there. So it's a tight-knit community that everyone has chosen to be there. Where on YouTube, people are just coming in and out. Now, you guys are amazing. You are this community here on YouTube, and I wouldn't be able to do this without you. So I don't want you guys to ever feel like, oh, Robin values Patreon people more than us because we can't pay to see your videos. No, you guys are like my main hustle, and then Patreon's like my side job. This is like, YouTube is my main thing. This is where everything happens. So you guys that watch the videos, share the videos, like them, comment them, come back and watch them again, you're the reason why I'm here, and I'm making videos for you all. So I just want you to make sure that you understand that you're not the ugly stepchild, and I love Patreon more. So I just hope you guys understood that, and I didn't I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So who have we got today coming in? We've got San Diego in the house, Canada. Welcome, Cindy, Margaret, Heather. Oh, Cindy, I've done that so many times. I had a doctor's appointment today that got switched to yesterday, and I struggled all week with it because I knew I had to go somewhere on Friday, and I'm just glad I made it to my appointment because I get them mixed up like that all the time. So I came across all right, so good. All right, so let's get on with what we're gonna do today. Boy, I don't like not being able to see how many people are here. Okay, we're good and going. Oh, Michelle, how are you doing? Did you get any horrible flooding? I know, poor Sass. I like that green one too. I thought it was kind of cute. I stitched together the outside of the tote so that our goal today is to have this tote bag completely finished. Look how tall it is. It's like when I hold it up, the entire thing. Ooh, we don't see fog too much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Epiphany, I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names, but could you let us, if you want, could you tell us what your first name is? Or I'll just call you Epiphany if you don't mind. I'm fine either way. Well, look how tall this bag is. You can't even see how big it is. But I have it all stitched together. As you can see, I put my handles on. We were talking about this. I might be repeating myself for Jane. Hi, Jane, who have been here for a while. But I did manage to get this sewn together so that this gray box of our panel here, handle's attacking me. It sits right down there on the table so that we have that nice setup just the way I wanted. I didn't want to lose it to the bottom of the bag. And when we flip over to this side, you can see the white. I have a little bit of the flying geese popping up, but not too bad. And we'll see how it looks when it's done. But I didn't lose any of the white. I've got my stripy panel down here on this side. And you can see I did lose my points, but I'm totally okay with that. Hi from Rhonda in the fog. Jody, All right, Jody. Jody's going to understand when I say this. Jody, we want to hear from you. We don't care about your perfect weather over in Seattle. Actually, Jody deserves that perfect weather because they had a hot, hot summer. So 72 in Seattle has got to feel good. Thanks, Sue. I don't want to hear about your gorgeous weather, though. We're still in the mid to high 90s and stuff. It's still hot here. So I did get the one that's off more to the front, but it's a little bit, if you put the bag like this by that corner point, it's like that, and then I have this. So if you, I knew you'd understand. Other people, I didn't want them to think I was being mean to you, but I knew you'd understand. I had an epiphany yesterday. I'm trying to practice my big words now that I've been feeling a little bit less foggy in the brain. Miss Mocha is coming after us. You want to go in the window, sweetie? There you go, look in the window. When I've been posting these on Etsy for the measurements, I was measuring them from the corners here, but then I realized I'm probably supposed to be measuring them from the side seams of the bag, so to tell you the measurements from here to here. So when you look at my Etsy shop and you're like, okay, Robin, what size is the bag? Do you expect to see this measurement from side to side? Because when you go to put something in it, yes, you can only put something to fill the bottom from here to here, but I could easily put a laptop in here because it's wide enough. Y'all are perfectly fine mentioning your weather. No worries. Look, it's going to be pretty soon, and everyone's going to say, Robin, we don't want to hear about your weather because you're going to be buried deep in the snow. And I'm going to be going, oh, this weather is gorgeous. It's 75 degrees. I can finally put some blue jeans on. Look, it's really cold out. What's your temperature? Oh, it's 50, and I'm freezing, and I got a big hoodie on. So I think I'm going to start changing I'm going to add to my measurements. I was thinking about adding a picture too where I show that this is where measurement A came from and this is where measurement B came from. We've got trouble coming. Are you going to come over and say hi? Because you can't stay today. We're sewing. Just so that everyone, it's hard to tell the colors. Thanks, Cindy. It's hard to tell the colors unless, here she is, nosy. It's hard to tell the size, it's hard to tell the size unless you have it with you. Plus, I know a few of you are like me where you can't tell unless you have a reference point to it, like if I put the iron in front of it or something. Thanks, Michelle. She's got a tummy ache today. She's a little crazy girl. If she gets too upset and stressed out, she gets a tummy ache and gets sick. If she eats too fast, she gets sick. So I have to really, give her small portions and then wait a few minutes and give her more and stuff like that. So she got a bit of a tummy ache today. Normally they run when I talk, but we'll give her a second and then we're going to have to kick her out because she can't be here while we're working. Huh, Mocha? You know, why don't you show everyone your beautiful face instead of your butt? Say hi. I'll say hi. Oh, is that so pretty, girl? Oh, no. I'll have to be careful and then brush everything down so we don't have flying fur. School started last week. Yeah, school starts here early in August, like August 8th, 9th, 11th or something like that. So they've been in school for almost a month. Many of the schools, of course, have an entire school closed down a couple weeks ago because they've just had so many positive COVID cases and stuff like that. Okay, can I do my job now? We have a little bit of work to do today, sweetie. You want to sit in my chair for a bit until we have to sew, but then I'll have to move you. Come on. Come on. And then they dig their claws in and they won't let you pick them up. July, oh, do they do year-round jackies? So they go for 3 months and then have some time off and do stuff like that? I always thought that was really good for the kids. My kids got bored during the summer, and yes, they did get a little bit stupid after a while. Not stupid, that's a terrible word to say, but they would forget everything. They'd get lazy and their brains would just kind of forget everything they learned. So then they spend the first 2 months of the school year relearning what they already learned last year. Modified year round. Yeah, I like it. All right, so I'm going to put this aside. We'll come back to that when we actually make our bag. Boy, I'm just feeling awfully clumsy. I'm knocking things around. And then I have my other lining, so that's gone. As I said, I did do some prep work ahead of time. I have my lining all cut out. My lining, of course, is the same size as my bag. I cut my little 2.5-inch squares out of the bottom just to make sure that everything is good. Hi, Kathy. Cindy, that's kind of, what am I looking at? Yep, Cindy, that's kind of nice. I mean, it's weird and quiet, but it is nice to just have that one-on-one time, and you only have to keep track of one child, and only one child needs to be fed, and only one child is bored, and all of that extra stuff too. Let me get my big ruler. Oh, Miss Mocha gave up on us. Just making room for everything. I even have my little cheat sheet here. I have my chicken scratch where I scribbled everything down, so whenever I go to make these pockets, I don't have them, I think I have it almost memorized now, but I just like to double check. Oh, Heather, my kids have not gone, none of them have gone to college, so I don't know about taking anyone off to college and stuff. I don't know, that would just kind of be hard. The first year, after that. We can always use purple in our lives. Purple people eater, Barney the purple dinosaur. Oh, I liked, who was Magilla Gorilla? Wasn't he the purple one? Magilla Gorilla for sale? I loved him. All right, so my pocket this time, I've decided to make a little bit of a bigger pocket. I even have a purple zipper because I thought this purple here, because of course it's the only purple zipper color. I have a similar purple, but I thought it would go ahead and pop nicely off of that light purple. So I went ahead with that. Normally I almost want to see if I can hide the zipper. I don't know why I want to make the pouch like a secret, like nobody can see that I have a zipper there. But I don't know, this is what I do. I'll probably change up when I run out of zippers. But I made this one I went for 10 inches by 16 inches. So I thought, so if it's 10 inches, my zipper is going to be 8-inch opening. Oh yeah, it's costume season for Jody. I like purple, I like purple. So so my zipper is going to be 8 inches. And of course this one measures, like 13 inches, 14 inches. But I need to have 1 inch wider. So if I'm going to have an 8-inch zipper, I need to have a 10-inch piece of fabric. And I thought that I would go with 8 inches deep this time. So let's see what 8 inches deep looks like. Since it's not really going to be 8 inches deep because we're going to lose a little bit at the top when we do it, so you lose what, about 1.5 inches to, yeah, about 1.5 inches because it's 1 inch down and then 3/8. So then I'll have it still a nice decent pocket. I wanted it to be large enough. The other ones I was a little concerned, like you couldn't really put a phone in it, and some wallets might be a little bit bigger, so I want a little bit like that. Hi Debbie, Devi. Why do I always struggle with that? And then I was thinking too, like now this one, we are going to turn this tote through the pocket. I did not show you that yesterday in the video because I kind of did a little cheat thing afterwards. So after we stitched all the pocket together, I'll show you what I'm going to do here too. But when I put it all in and I sewed it all up, what I ended up doing, so this is the top of it, let me see. So this is the top of it where your zipper is like this. So this is a folded seam because I had enough fabric to do the entire thing. So I just took my ruler and my rotary cutter and I just took barely like a sliver off to open up the bottom of this. So it was already stitched around all three sides. So that way I can turn it through here. You can also use two separate pieces of fabric. So if I could use a purple and an orange if I wanted to, or I could have just two of these pieces of purple and I could stitch them together at the bottom to form my pocket. But whatever we do is if we're going to make this and turn it through the bottom and we have two separate pieces, when we stitch down here, you have two options. You can leave this entire thing open and just fold it all under and stitch it across that way. Or I'm going to do like I do when I make my zipper pouches, and I'm going to leave the largest opening I can. So this one looks like about 6 inches. So that I have plenty of room to turn a tote through. You don't want to have a little 2 or 3 inch one if you can avoid it. So if you have a smaller pocket, you either want to do it the other way and turn it through the lining, or leave this entire bottom open. But I think that was the simplest for me. There are ways you can look at it. So if you're going to do the 1 inches down to put the zipper here, and we fold it up and do that. So if you want to have the opening on the bottom, you could kind of flip this around, figure out your halfway point, and then draw your little thing right here. But I thought it was just so much easier to draw everything at the top, and then after it's all stitched together, just slice the bottom off. And then I didn't have to think about where's it going to be, if I got it in the right spot. So this is the way that I'm comfortable with, so I'll just go ahead and do it that way. So we are going to go 1 inch down from the top. Now if you can line it up exactly, so mine is 18 inches, I can line, well not 18, it's from 8 to 18, so I can line it up perfectly. So I don't have to draw all the way across, I can just draw from 1 inch in from either side, or I can draw all the way. So it doesn't matter either way. But I probably should draw a line I can actually see. Since my pen is not going to show up, it's not a light fabric, it's the Friction pen, it's just going to go away. Hi Paula and everyone else that I haven't seen. If you guys have any questions, either put them all in capitals so it might catch my eye, or the moderators might go ahead and pick it up and see. Apparently YouTube doesn't like the abbreviation NYC, New York City, because everyone who types that keeps getting their comment held for moderation. You guys beat me to it. Thank you. Thank you for the moderators. We have a couple new moderators today. Teresa has joined us and Jackie. Because we lost a couple that are, like Becky teaches at school. She's a teacher, so she really can't be here Fridays at 3 o'clock. So we did lose her on certain days. Then our next line is going to be 3/8 inch down. I really do like to have my other ruler. I can see the numbers better. Oh, there's Mimoka. She's hiding by the closet. And then I can see 3/8 a lot easier. Where's that half inch mark? There we go. Now I watched a video. This looks like I put it in the wrong spot. I watched a video where they did do the half inch mark and they had no problem with it. So I don't know. I'll probably try that in another tote, but I'm not going to try that today. Three-eighths, just shy of a half. What's great about these Friction pens that if I do get confused and I mess it up, then I can just take it over to my iron and it disappears. Then we'll split the difference, which when we're cutting it, it really doesn't matter that much. I think it's slightly important, but not overly. But if you do it a half an inch, then it's really easy to see, you know, where your halfway mark is. Everything, whoop, I lost you guys. Everything keeps popping up somewhere down at the bottom. I keep getting notifications. Cindy Wall, I keep getting notifications that you're commenting somewhere. Are you here commenting, or did you go somewhere else and leave comments? So since we made it an inch wider on either side, I have to make my 1-inch mark. Did anyone go and check out Professor Pincushion? I tell you, I love that YouTube channel. She's just got some amazing stuff on there. And she does it in a way that works for my brain, and I only have to watch the video like once, and then I watch it through and pause as I'm doing it. She just does a really good job. I don't know, I never really pay attention enough to see if it's a bunch of different people that are doing it or if it's just one person. Excuse me while I reach in front of you. So I saw by the comments on this morning's video that several of you do zippers like this anyway, so you guys are all set. This is old school to you. Happy to hear that when I show something that you guys do it that way, so that it's not like I am doing anything new. Do I need to zoom in at all, or can you guys see okay? Happy Friday, happy Friday. We're actually doing it quicker today than I did it in the actual tutorial, right? So now I'm going to cut on that center line just enough to open it up so I can get my scissors in there and I don't have to worry about trying to cut. You can see fine? Okay, good. You guys are on my Chromebook, so you're much smaller, and I don't know if you can see enough. I'll just cut to the tip of the triangle, and then cut. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should sew it first, huh? That's why things were going super fast. I'm too far. It'll be fine. Let me just fold this in half. At least it wasn't anything too crazy. Maybe I should have watched my own video. I did watch another video. I was watching one on Craftsy this morning. So I was like, okay, great, this is perfect. It's a little refresher for me. So when I go and I sew today, I'll remember. And what did I do? I didn't remember. I can make mistakes in whatever I'm doing and wherever I am. It does not matter. But it's not the mistakes you make in life, it's how you correct them and how you react to them. Thankfully, I still have enough purple fabric and I still have enough this. I don't want to mess anything up, but if we do, we're okay. Now the ruler. I put the other pocket. I don't know if it really matters if their pockets are the same distance down. I went with 3.5 inches this time. I don't know if it really matters or if it's just something I'm making up in my head. I've never seen anyone else talk about it in their videos, so maybe I'm just making it up. But it just seems like it should be something I do. And my pins. So I was thinking we should probably start gearing up for some fall and Halloween projects coming up. And I say that like I have plans and ideas and I know what I want to do. I don't, but I was just thinking that we should. So it won't be long before we're really getting into Christmas. I'm lining up the middle crease with the middle crease here. And if I put it so that I have a number right on the crease, I don't have to see the fold. Not just keep changing my words. glass head pins in. Then we'll stitch around it. And then, because I was thinking, gotta be careful, you want to clip right up to the stitching line. Well, I didn't put a stitching line in it, so there's nothing to clip. I think I will put a couple pins in here just to hold it, and then I'll pull them out as I'm sewing. Thanks, Jackie. You guys just shout if you ever need something, like if I'm too quiet, I'm too loud. Sometimes it's based on your video, but if you need me to zoom in or zoom out, just let me know. I do know that if I zoom in, the volume gets lower. For whatever reason, the phone automatically lowers the volume if I zoom in. So that might have been one of the problems with some of my other videos, that once we zoomed in on the lives, the volume of the video went down. Kind of makes sense. You don't want to be like up into someone's face and just screaming, but at the same time, it's a video. Mocha's got a new spot. I put a chair up next to my shipping station where the bookcase is, so the cats can lay on top and look out the window. And for whatever reason, she likes to sleep underneath that chair now. Alright, I have a purple thread that matches that I've been using on everything else, so I'll just keep using that here. 2.0 stitch length, needles in the center. I'm going to stitch around the rectangle and 1 inch in from each side. So I'm going to basically stitch around just outside those little triangle bits. Because I don't have a rolly chair, I have a kitchen table chair that this is actually the chair from my daughter's kitchen table. This set I didn't bother to get chairs with it because I didn't need them. But I swear, I just slide my chair in and out all the time, and I can never find my foot pedal. Come on, Mimoka. You need to settle down. Go watch the lizards. There you go. Go watch lizards. No, you can't come. No. You can lay there. I have to say, having cats is like having toddlers. She's going to be right here at the end of the table. There you go. That's a good spot for you. She likes to hook her claws over the edge of the table for some reason. You need loving because you got tummy aches today, huh? Why not feel good? Why you got tummy aches? Yeah, the poor thing. Yeah, it's like toddlers. You always got to... Did I lose one of them? Or is anyone stuck in a closet? Did I close the bathroom door and lock them in? Has everyone eaten? Has everyone gone to the bathroom? We've got to clean them, entertain them. When it was 5 of us in the house, I never really noticed it because there was 5 people to take care of the cats and entertain them and pet them and love them and stuff like that. But now that it's just me, I am like their sole source of everything. You're not gonna like what I'm doing. I'm sewing. There you go. Get off. Go away. Bye. She doesn't like the sound of the sewing machine. She doesn't like the steam when it comes out of the iron. But she's got this medium length fur that is just so soft. And when she wants to be, she's so sweet and lovable. Unless it's 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. when she decides it's time to get up. Oh, by the way, I picked 2 names from Wednesday's video to send out these back to school summer picnic type postcards. So I commented on your comment. So if you're interested in these, I put my email address underneath it, RsIslandCrafts@gmail.com. So just respond and send me your mailing address or let me know you're not interested. And then today, I thought we would give away a Thanksgiving one and this, I don't know which way it goes, this Holly Christmas one. I have a few of these left over from last year. I don't have a date on them. I believe these are last year's, yeah, 2020. So I thought I would go ahead and clear some of these out before I start making new ones. So before we get into this, who wants the Thanksgiving one? If you're interested, just let me know and I will write your name down somewhere. And I'd be happy to send you a fabric postcard. And then in a little bit, we'll do this one. I have some Halloween ones that I want to send out to some random people coming up soon. Mocha, 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 Mocha. You were so fidgety. I'm not done sewing, child. Michelle, you want the turkeys? You want the gobble, gobble, gobbles? Whoever says me, 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 me. I thought the turkeys were cute too. So I had some of that fabric. I picked it up at Joann's. I think we did a live stream there. And I thought that was really cute for a simple, because it's just one piece of fabric stitched down with a couple of straight stitches on it. So I thought that was really sweet for Thanksgiving. Okay. Michelle, Michelle, Michelle. I do not think I have your address, so you'll have to email me your mailing address, please. Turkeys. As it's getting closer to the holidays, I'll probably make some simple ones up like this, and we'll do more of this I mean, it's not like a fancy one, but sometimes it's just nice to set this out on a table by a bowl or something like that, just to add a little decoration to everything. And not everything has to be complex and pieced in 75 different pieces. Crochet hooky, keep an eye out because we'll do this one in a little bit. We'll do this one, remind me, we'll do this one when we're getting ready to turn the bag through the pocket. That was like, it was like magic when I did it the first time I struggled with it, so I don't think I had my hole very big. But when I did it on the puppy bag, it was like, oh. Michelle likes turkeys. Turkey, turkey, turkey. My father used to like to joke, oh, everyone's a bunch of turkeys around here. I didn't know about dad jokes back then. My father's been gone for 12 years now, I think. 2009. Y'all like turkeys? Well, maybe I'll see if I've got more turkey fabric and I'll make some up because I'm going to be making fabric postcards soon. I like to send them out to my patrons for Christmas, and I just want to make some and have them on hand for like live streams and for the code word and stuff. The thing with the code word is a lot of times I'll comment on their comments, but they never send me their mailing address. I'm pretty sure that's like they don't see it, because if they use the code word, I would hope either they're just using the code word for fun or that they're hoping to get a postcard. And I don't want to do it like on every video, because first, that would be a lot, and second, it wouldn't be a surprise anymore. So just when I like feel like, okay, it feels like we should have one. I thought I sewed it on the wrong side for a second. Okay. Now, I've stitched all the way around, back stitched at the end there. When I was watching this Craftsy class, they put an extra piece of interfacing here, and they use much heavier weight. They use that Deco Bond. I know that's heavier than my P44F or whatever it is I have. P44F. So I was thinking maybe I'll start putting it on there. I guess it's to add a nice extra durability and structure to where the zipper is. So I'm going to try that. I didn't want to do anything extra today. I've already messed up enough. I didn't want to have to change my brain around and try to... I have to cut through the whole entire thing, right? Otherwise you can't turn it around. You know, sometimes I wonder, you guys must come here for the entertainment, because sometimes I just can't figure out why you think I'm going to actually teach you anything when I mess it up so much. I had to stop and think to make sure. Today is not a good brain day. I love these little cutting mats. They finally, no, they didn't have them. They've never had them at my Dollar Tree. I ordered them online so I can have a couple of those. And it's great for little things like this. Okay, so I'm going to cut right to as close to the stitching as I can get. So of course, if you go through the stitching, I figure you can just go ahead. Cindy's back. Cindy, where did we lose you to? I kept getting these pop-ups that you were leaving comments somewhere. So I'm like, oh, she's watching something somewhere. We lost her. So you can just go ahead and make, since we're at 3/8, you can just stitch around it again and make it just that little one thread wider. It's really not going to be that big of a day. You're sewing? Excellent. I love when you guys tell me my live streams are great for folding laundry. You guys love to fold laundry and listen to me in the background, and I'm not complaining. I think that's great, because I put on people on YouTube and stuff when I'm doing my laundry, when I'm folding it, because it's a very boring job. You may as well have someone keep you company. Okay, so I think what I didn't show you yesterday, and I now just remembered, is before I turn it, I fold it like this. I'm just right up there, just giving a nice little press right where the seam is, where it's stitched. And that seemed to help me get that nice crisp line, you know, when I turn it. Oh, we're glad you're here too, Stitch Itch. So you're just got in here now, so you know, you may or may not know that I am terrible with names. And unless I see someone's name and talk to them over and over again, I'm terrible with names. So if you want to share your first name, then, you know, great. And if not, either way is fine, because chances are I won't remember anyhow, but someone else might. You do come for the chit chat and the entertainment, Teresa, because that's what you're getting. This one, when I do the tutorials, I have a chance to stop, rewind, start again, figure out what I was trying to say, and do it all over again, where when it's on a live stream, this is it. Jody. Jody and I chat over on Instagram a lot. So when I say these things to her, I'm not being mean. Jody, what is wrong with you? You are always a little bit short on fabric. Do you realize that? I think she tries to just get just enough, or she tries to get a project out of the fabric she already has, like we all do. You don't want to spend extra money, and you want to, this is freaking me out with it being on the wrong side. You don't want to spend extra money and have extra fabric laying around, so you buy just as much as you need. But if you lay it out and you lay, because she makes a lot of clothing type stuff, so if you lay that pattern out just wrong in the bit of a direction, you're totally out of luck, because you're going to run short on fabric. Now with quilting, we can always add something extra in, change it, make it a little scrappier. Or if you're doing whites, you know, you can have a variety of whites in the backgrounds. That's not going to matter. I got to go ahead and press this. But on that Craftsy class that I was watching, she was making a quilt as you go tote bag, something similar but more boho in style. When she put her zipper in, right? And then she just took it to the sewing machine and just held it in place and stitched it around. No pins, no double-sided tape, nothing. I'm like, wow, you know, she's a magician, because I struggle enough with the double-sided tape and pins, let alone just taking it over and stitching it. She is amazing. Yeah, I've pieced together bits of fabric before, because you know what? We do what we have to, and I don't always want to. Sometimes I don't want to just spend that money on fabric when I just need that little piece. And hopefully it's not going to be noticed anyway. doing all miniature stuff today. We've got small rulers, small cutting mats, small pressing mats. I'm gonna iron, sweetie. You might want to go in the other room. Just saying. I made a few different bags and I had no trouble with puckers. Now all of a sudden I'm trying 2 tutorials in a row and I've got like pucker issues. Maybe I need to snip just a little bit more. I was trying to save a buck. Now you have to repurchase and buy extra. That's what gets me. You try to save it. You try to just save a little bit of money and then you end up having to spend like triple. That's good. That's good. I think I'm just gonna have to steam the heck out of the puckers. There we go. The whole idea of me making scrappy quilts came from the fact that I'm trying to save a buck and I'm trying to make what I have go further. So when I found out about scrappy projects and stuff, I thought, oh, that's brilliant. I learned how to quilt on the cable TV show Simply Quilts with Alex Anderson. So she taught me how to quilt, and she did a lot of stuff that, you know, used what you have around the house. So my very first quilts, I took a CD case and I traced around it because she was showing how you can take like the cardboard from a cereal box and stuff, but the more you use it, the cardboard would kind of disintegrate a little, so your squares wouldn't be the right size. So I took CD cases and I traced around them because they're not going to change. They're hard plastic. Well, they're not square either. But I took those and I pieced I took like all of the kids when they're younger, their clothes. I had some scrubs, some sheets. I did all of that. And I cut it all up, traced all around it, and I sat there in the dead of winter in upstate New York by Fort Drum, where there's a lot of cold and a lot of snow, and I just used all that to make my quilts. And I thought, well, if I can do that, and I can use clothes like dress shirts and stuff like that, I'm not going to spend money on fabric, because fabric was, oh my goodness, it was like $4 a yard back then, because this we're talking in 1999, 2000. Now even Joann's fabric is sky high. So we have to, I think it's really great that people are trying to figure out how to make what they have go further. When we put the zipper in, if you still have a few puckers, I don't know if I said that earlier on today's video because I made that like on Tuesday or Wednesday, you can always do a second round of stitching. So you can, as you're stitching around, you can spread that pucker out a little bit, because I know I had those fold areas that the creases wouldn't go away, but you can spread that pucker out a little bit and stitch around it twice, and then catch that, you know, stretch that out just a little bit, and when you stitch around it, it'll usually, you know, heal up that pucker so you don't have it as much. Some steam helps. Of course, pop-ups pop up on this Chromebook right there where you guys are chatting. And so they look like they wanted to be puckers, but they're really just kind of wrinkles that I can press out. When the fabric looks like it's wrinkled because of the way I turned it and everything, so when you hit it, a lot of that just goes away. And if you have the tiniest little bit, it's not going to be noticeable. You'll notice it just like you'll notice that one quilt block that's turned the wrong way or something, but nobody else will notice it. Give it a little steam from this side. So now, of course, on the back, it's really not going to matter too much what you have. Those puckers, if you have any here. The I think I watched 10 or 12, 15, 20 videos. I try to watch as many as I can find on YouTube when I'm learning something. And a lot of them had puckers on the back. Apparently, when you do a really good job on the front, the puckers show up on the back. But again, that's not anywhere anyone's going to see. Yeah, this even double folded up the steam. It makes the table a little wet. So now, this is one of my favorite purples. All these blender fabrics came from fabric.com. So I really like the way this one looks. Okay, my zipper. Not to say it over and over again, but the Craftsy class I watched, the lady put her zipper on the right. She's like, I like to have my zippers on the right. And I think like, okay, well, people like to have them on the left. But I guess it really just doesn't matter. So I think that purple contrast against there is going to be really nice inside the pocket. So I used the wash away on this morning's tutorial. So let's use, sorry for reaching in front of you. Let's use the light steamosine. My patrons can expect a video tomorrow. I went on and on about the sameness and differences and all about these different double stick tapes. This one, I think this one, I just noticed it did this second or third time it really wasn't stuck down on there. But it's okay. Just don't want to be in my window at all. What is this one? This one is peel off the steamosine 2, sticking along the edge of fabric, iron if desired, remove paper. September is the month, even though in Florida, as I said, we don't get any cool weather until like November, around Thanksgiving, a little before. But September is when I start thinking, I lived down here since 1982. I only lived in Connecticut for the first 13 years. Well, I moved when I was 13, so only the first 12 years of my life. We moved in here, down here in June, and I was born in February. But I still get that seasonal thing that when time comes and fall starts coming around, that you want to start having chili, and then you want to start having, you know, your soups and stuff like that. So it doesn't even matter to me if the temperature is hot or not. I'm going to have, I'm ready for casseroles and stuff like that. Now, I didn't show you this yesterday, but I'm going to take a little small piece and I'm going to pop it at each of these ends. And that's going to extra hold down onto the edges on these ends of my zipper and stuff like that. It's not necessary. Oh, came right off my finger. It's not necessary. And it's not like, oh, wow, that was the neatest trick I've ever learned. But, you know, it just does help a little bit. I love crazy blocks. I love, as I said, anything scrappy. Now, I haven't done too many of the ones where you put all the embroidery and the beads and stuff like that on it, but I do like those too. All right, let's pull this paper off. Hi, Mimoka. What you doing? This one's pretty good. It doesn't come, the paper comes up and leaves the glue behind. So this is when I put the zipper on the other way, because I put it like this and I was just thinking, okay, we'll put the zipper on and then on, you know, you turn it around. So if I want to have to get something light colored. I like to have the stopper here, so now I don't have to worry about like back stitching over here a bunch of times, because this is going to automatically create the stopper because it's the metal stopper. So then here, so I'm going to put a stopper right about here. I picked these up. These are chalk writers. They're like chalk markers. I found them at the Dollar Tree. You can write. They don't have. I wish they had a nice fine tip to it, but you can write on chalkboards and stuff with it, and it comes off with water. So I think it's the ones like you can write on cars and stuff like that. Sorry, Sass, this is only my second Friday. We're on at 3 o'clock my time on the first and third Friday. I did switch it up on you all. But I popped a notification out early. Look, I want to sit on the pressing board. I try to get it out. That's the first thing I do when I come in here in the morning around 8 or 9 o'clock my time. Now, of course, I know you're probably sleeping at that point. So I'm just where you can't see me over here, I'm just going to put a tacking stitch to hold my zipper piece in place, and I'm going to put that, got to remember to open my zipper, just to keep it from flopping around everywhere. It's not necessary, and if you have a metal zipper, of course, you can't do it. See, missing foot pedal again. And it will create a stopper, but I don't know how necessary it is to have a stopper when you have the zipper pocket like that. Well, yeah, but it's all about me. My live stream, so I get to be the most important thing. It's all about my time. And then you guys have to figure it out from there. Yes, I'm a day earlier. I was doing it Saturday my time, and now I'm doing it Friday my time to help incorporate the people that are on the West Coast, and for those that are possibly, you know, sometimes it's a better time. It's what? It's 8 o'clock now, I think, over in the UK and stuff like that. So it's more towards the end of their nights. But I know it's kind of hard for the West Coast, plus it's just totally selfish on my part so that I can actually get some work done on Saturdays. This hole seems awfully big. It's like you have to bring the pieces up. There's this little braided part right along here that they put on zippers so that you can line your fabric up with it. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that. There we go. Let me get a zipper so I can show you. Almost 6 a.m. in Aussie. Well, 6 a.m. is better than 3 a.m. though, right? Okay, let's see if we can see. Focus, focus. You see this like braided looking line right here? That's a good line if you want to line your fabric up along there on both sides. That'll give it to where it's equal. You can kind of see those squiggly lines on there that looks like your eyes are blurred or something. But that allows you to have an equal part on either side of the zipper tape so that you can line your fabric up on it. Oh, that's true. I started an hour ago. That's tell you, it's 3 o'clock on Friday, Florida time. Florida has their own time down here. See, this is the problem I have with this tape, and I don't know what it is because they're all 1/4 inch. But you see how the sticky part sticks out. I'll have to get in close. Hi, Bettina. Let me press it on there. I swear it's the fiddliest part. Where's my iron? But again, this is going to be on the inside, so it's really not that big of a deal. Hello from Verona, Kentucky. Is that Lorraine? I'm not sure. I've never seen your name before. It looks very pretty though. Saying someone's name right is so important because, you know, it's their identity, and some people get very upset. And I don't blame them. You know, if you say their name wrong, it hurts their feelings. They get upset. Mine's Robin, so I don't have that issue, but you know. We're taking weather surveys. Is Kentucky still hot? Maybe I'm the only one that's interested because my weather is always the same. All right, enough of that. I'm gonna be brave like my craftsy queen lady, and I'm just gonna stitch it. Oh, I know you think you're probably helping, but is that Renee? Renee? Lorene? Remember, I'm terrible. Terrible. Terrible, Robin. You're terrible. Put some pins in just to keep everything out. Got a few latecomers coming in. You're always welcome no matter what time you show up, and I love the ones that watch on the replay too. Some of you guys watch on the replay, but you don't get to comment because YouTube doesn't allow commenting like in the first 24 hours. You don't see the comments. I don't know if you can comment, but I know you can't see everyone else's comments. I'm late for a very important date. Hello. Yes. Thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to top stitch around it to hold it in place. I can adjust it a little bit as I need to. I'm not going to put on my zipper foot this time. Just going to move my needle all the way over. Maybe I won't go all the way over. What do I want to do? So many things in life is just like taking a chance and guesswork. Is it in the right spot? I don't know. Which spot is the right spot? It doesn't have to be. When you don't live on everything has to be perfect and done exactly the right way or the proper way, and you just want to kind of do whatever you want, it makes it a little harder to decide, like, should I do this or should I do that? I don't have a guideline to go through. I've already broken the rules, so I can't follow the rules. So when I come to corners, I'm just going to, like, I like to pet it. Just to keep some of those crinkles down. I have to be careful of that little metal stopper there because it's moved a little bit. It's underneath the corner, so I'll just make sure my corner is nice and wide. I think this is one of those things where only the person making it is going to worry that the zipper's not, it's an 1/8 of an inch off this way or a 1/4 inch off that way. Overall, if you have a little bit more of the purple tape showing on the bottom of the zipper hole and less on the top, is it really a big deal? I don't know, I don't think so, and I don't think anyone's really going to notice. I have sold a few things to people I've known for a while, and they show it to their mother or something, and the mother, like, she tries to pull the seams apart and she checks everything and measures everything to see if you pass and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's kind of harsh. But I get it. They're looking, because then they're going to tell you if you did a great job or not, and then you can make adjustments based on that. So if you're making something wrong all the time, no matter what part of your life is, if you're trying to learn to play the piano, you're making paper airplanes, or you're sewing, if you're doing it wrong, it's nice for someone to politely tell you what you're doing wrong and help and guide you to the next place. But if they just say, Robin, you're an idiot, you're doing it wrong, then that's not very helpful. My whole goal here is just to make sure that all of the fabric is stitched down and connected to the zipper, and the zipper doesn't fall out when we use it. And I bit my tongue. I need to move my zipper pull. You ever have one of those days? These zippers from Zip It from YKK zippers are great, but they do take a couple of zips and unzips to break them in. And if it's not like connected to something, like if you're just playing with the zipper by itself, it doesn't work as well. But once it's sewn in, then it's like a great little zipper. Again, I'm just going to rub down the corners. Everybody is just so friendly with everyone. I love it. I think it's great that we all go back and forth from one live stream to another. I was on Lisa Capin's earlier today. She was making a quilt as you go. You got to see what she made today. So she did it a quilt as you go, like in yesterday's video and today's, but she made like a to put your casserole on, like a hot pad, so it's more of an oblong-y shape to put your casserole on. But she did this thing on the back that you could put your hands in it and use it as a pot holder too. So you can pull your pans out, or you can lay it on the table and put your casserole on it. And I thought that was pretty brilliant to have double duty. Because how many times do you need the pot holders and then you're like, gosh, I need something, a hot pad to put it on. She was using 30s repro fabric. Beautiful. You know, it's so not my style, but I really just like that fabric. I am going to back stitch on this one side just to give a little security on that zipper, so in case it does anything weird, because there is no zipper pull on that side. It's easier to sew when the zipper is closed, so let me pull it this way. Oh. There we go. So based again on all the videos I've watched and stuff, if you get little puckers in the corner, then you shouldn't be upset about it because everyone gets them. And what I've learned over the years is if you feel like your stuff isn't good enough and like you're making clothes or bags or stuffed animals or something, I highly suggest you go to Walmart and Target and look into it and look at what they have made. Like I have the hardest time doing the ladder stitch to close up stuffed animals. So I was looking at them at the ones that we bought for Robbie and we'd gotten at the store and stuff, like the Christmas bears and all that. And if you look, a lot of them are just whip stitched over. They're not done neatly either. And you're paying $10, $15, $20, $50 for those. So, you know, give yourself a break. There is my zipper. So I need to trim this guy off. Don't like to use the good scissors for that. Yeah, I really like all the brights and stuff like that. And I like the novelties and stuff, but that was, were you over, yeah, I think you popped into Lisa Capin's, right? So she had some, it was just beautiful fabric. I have a whole bag full of the 30s print that I'm just waiting to use. It just has, I think it's because of their dyes and stuff, so they're just a little bit duller, but they're still, they're just such fun fabrics. One day, one day, one day. I'm waiting for my iron to heat up. So this, we just take my fingernail, rub something down there, and that glue just comes right off, especially after I hit it with the iron like that. Now this side, it does pull a little bit, but after you iron it and once you put it into your bag, it's going to settle down. Because the sides of the bag and everything will pull it in. Now our next step, when I did my when I did doggy tote, I forgot to open up the zipper before I turned it around. So we're gonna bring it up. Now mine wants to pull up in this corner. It wants to kind of kick that way, and I can see this little bubble of fabric here. But I'm going to line everything up, and if I have a little bit of extra fabric at the top, I'll just trim it down because this bit up here is really not that important. It just gives you that room to stitch around. You know, it's a pocket. Give yourself a little bit of leeway, and you know, give yourself a little bit of room to make mistakes and to change things up a little bit and to figure it out. There are times when, of course, we have to fix things. Excuse me, I seam rip. I put things down and start all over again and find something new because it just doesn't work out. So I want this to lay flat, so I will lose a little bit up there. Again, it's going to be okay. You guys are seeing these things because it's just what's happening today. Some days there's just more issues than others. Some fabric works differently. But when I stitched, I stabbed myself with pins. When I stitch this and create that pocket, trimming off this little triangle there that's barely 1/4 of an inch is not going to affect on how this is going to work at all. Come on and ease on down the road. Uh-oh. Sass is very well behaved. Sass doesn't cause any trouble. She's not a troublemaker. Sometimes things just happen when she's around. It's not her fault. I've got to remember to move your needle back. Now, since we did the 1 inch on either side, we have a little room. I don't bother with the 1/4 inch. I do stick with like about a 3/8 inch. Sure, Diane. I will have to put a link somewhere. I buy it from Etsy and it's a French shop, so I can't help you. I've been thinking about I need to put it into down in the description box, so when we're done with the live stream, if YouTube allows me to get into it, well, here's what I'll do. Can you see my community tab when I put things on a community post, Diane? Can you see what's up there? Because I can put a link to the shop in the community tab if you can see that. Okay guys, we are going to, it's already after an hour. It's going to take us a little bit more to finish this tote up and turn it through. So you guys just let me know if you want me to stop or you want me to keep going. Got to trim a little bit on this zipper on this side. It's in my way. Make sure you don't hit the pocket on a day like this. There we go. I mean, I don't mind staying here if you guys want to chit chat. I just got to keep an eye on my phone. Thanks, Teresa. Yeah, I just need to know if she can see my community tab because I'll put a link there for it after the live stream. No, you can't see the community tab. I will put it into, either send me an email or I'll put it in the description box of this video as soon as YouTube, well, here, you know what I'll do? I'll put it in this morning's description box because I can edit that no problem. So when we're done with the live stream, give me about 20 minutes. I will find where I bought it in the Etsy shop and put the link in this morning's tutorial video so that you'll be able to see it easily. Because sometimes I can't get into this video right away. They won't let me edit it. But I can get into this morning's. I have a list of things that I need to add to the description box. Not that I haven't had a chance, it's just more fun to sew. I want to put what sewing machines I use, where I buy my zippers and stuff like that. I'm really pleased with these labels so far. I haven't heard from anyone, you know, if they've washed them and they've melted or anything like that. But I really liked, I don't know how often they have the sale, but I got like buy 100, get 100 free. Because a lot of the shops you can buy it, it's on like twill tape, and they give you like 25 of them or 100 of them or 50 of them or whatever. And I'm like, I go through a lot of labels. I need lots. You're welcome. I need lots and lots. Now, of course, when we're sewing things and we're making quilts, we want to do our best to make it the best we can. But when mistakes happen, as long as it's not damaging the integrity of the project, and it's not going to fall apart in the wash, and it still looks like it was supposed to, then I don't see a problem if you need to take a 3/8 of an inch seam instead of a 1/4 inch, or you had one little thing in your pocket that's crooked. I mean, granted, of course, it makes it work better in my favor if we can have crooked pockets, but you know. So there is the inside of the pocket. The zipper works nicely. Oh, it just takes that little bit in the beginning to get it going. It's like once it's sewn in the pocket and it has that stress on it that's pulling on it, and then it works really, really great. So now you can sew this into your tote as is. You are done. Do everything like that. But we're going to cheat because that's just how it is. My brain doesn't always, ever since I injured it and I've had to take like pain meds and stuff, the brain just doesn't work like it should all the time. Sometimes the pressure from the issues with the neck pushes on things and they just don't work. So it's easier for me to find a way to cheat the system a little bit and it's still going to work than to try to figure out how to manipulate things to have them upside down and halfway over. I mean, eventually I could probably do it and get used to it, but if this is going to work perfectly fine, I don't see where this is that, it's not like a horrible thing I'm doing. I have to find my rulers. I piled things on them. So I'm just going to line my ruler up. And I'm going to take the smidgen and smidgen and smidgen. It really doesn't matter. You can take a 1/4 inch off or a 1/2 inch. But I want to just take a little bit off so that nobody knows that I did it except, all of you. Now, I forgot, since I've only done this twice now, that I was supposed to stitch a little on each side. So I'm going to take it back and I want to just stitch just, 1.5 inches, 2 inches here, and then a little bit over there, and then I'll leave this side open so that I have something to turn it through. I just keep piling stuff over on the desk that you can't see. So everything looks nice and neat and tidy here because you can't see my mess. I normally don't operate in a mess like this. I like to, I have these zipper pieces, I would have put those away right away. I would, put my rulers away right away, even if I have to get them out again. I don't like to have things out on the table. So I'm just going to go a little bit, back stitch, and pick a spot here, back stitch. Back stitching is going to keep you from popping that seam when we turn our bag, because you got to realize we're turning that big bag through. That's a lot to turn. These I'll put away because they've got a magnet on them. So since I did do that stitching along the bottom, no judgments here, right? Yeah, I mean, some people will look at a YouTuber like, you're on YouTube, you're this, because like Fat Quarter Shop, I mean, Missouri Star Quilt, we all look at those like they're quilting queens and stuff, right? They're just these amazing things, but not here. That's why I don't want to have a lot of fancy editing and all of that stuff. We're not here about putting music in and designs and having flashy RsIslandCrafts going by and stuff. We want to see the tutorials, show me the project, show me the fabric. Those videos are great. I don't mind watching them. I watch them all the time. But it's not what I'm looking for. I make enough mistakes. We can't have fancy stuff. Okay. I am actually going to close my zipper because I want to show you guys how to fix it when you put it together the wrong way and when you forget to open your zipper. So we have the bottom of our pocket open. So we're going to be able to turn our tote through here. Guys, it's magical. It's not magical, but oh, it's magical. So I've already made my outer tote. I wish I could see the power on my phone. If I just all of a sudden disappear, just hang out for a few minutes. I'll just have to, where's my plug? I could probably plug my phone in a little bit. I'll plug my phone in at 4:45, I think. So now this is pulling it in on it and stuff, so I'm having those problems. So what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my clips because they're here and I put away my pins. I'm going to clip up in this section at the top here, in here. Now we're just going to sew down the side, so we really don't care about that, but I find that things for me you know, we all do whatever works for us, but I find that if this is pulling down, it kind of does weird stuff down here. So I just line this all up, and even though I'm not stitching up there, I'm going to put a couple clips just to hold it and tell it to behave. Then I go down on this side, and I've never really been much of a pinner or clipper, but I find that it just makes such a big difference. And not just for neatness or anything like that, for just my frustration level, trying to constantly line things up all the time and make sure everyone's in the right spot. So if I just go ahead and suck it up, put the pins in, or the clips. Clips are just, they're just amazing. They make life so much quicker. They're not always the easiest and the right tool to use, but they do make a difference. Now I used to sew all the way down and then cut out my corners, but I've been cutting out my corners. I used to do that in the very, very beginning, and then I stopped, and now I just find that I like to have them cut out. You don't have to. If you're not turning it through your pocket, you know, we leave that bit down here. Some people leave it on the side. I find that I can see the side when I look into my tote more than I can see the bottom. At least at the bottom, chances are I put a bunch of junk in there and I can't see that little ridge that's created. All right. So then I'm going to stitch down, back stitch. I'm just going to stitch here. I'll slip over. Now when I do my totes, I've showed you guys this once before, and I don't show you all the time, but you're going to watch me sew it, so I'm going to show you again. For the first couple inches, I do the 3/8 inch seam allowance with a 2.0 stitch length, and when I get down here, I like to veer off, and I go more to the generous side of a 1/2 inch. I leave about a 1/4 inch between my edge of my presser foot and here, so that my lining gets a little smaller. I want it to be exact up here and match my outer part of the tote that I made. So when I'm sewing around the top, I need it to be the same exact size, because if I made it smaller, then I'd have puckers and stuff on my outer bag. So that's why I go down. I don't measure it or anything. I'm like, oh, well, that looks good. I'll start veering in. And I even do it on the bottom, and I make the bottom just a little bit of a deeper seam allowance, and then up the sides. And that just gets my lining from being all loosey-goosey and baggy. And of course, we're going to stitch the bottom to the bottom. I'm glad my mistakes help, because when I first started doing things, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't give this as a gift. I can't sell it. I can't do anything with it. I have to keep it myself because I made a mistake. And I have to fix every mistake. And then I just can't keep it and stuff like that. But we all make mistakes. Even those professionals that work in like the sewing sweatshops that do this, or they work in the design fields and stuff, and they do this all the time, they make mistakes. Just some you fix, some you don't. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. I used to love that song. I'm going to back stitch so that when I'm doing all my stuff, I don't rip it. Pop my seam. And I go down for a while, and then I'm like, oh, this looks like enough. And I just kind of like driving the car over the center line when you're not paying attention. I just kind of veer over a little bit. Because I have my measurements, my 3/8 and my seam allowance and my 1/4 inch. I go off the side of my foot. Now when I get to here, I just lift my presser foot, I leave my needle down. With the presser foot up, you can pull a little bit on that thread. And then I just start here again, leaving that little bit. Do I have a ruler anywhere? I am leaving about an extra 1/8 of an inch. So yeah, it looks like I'm about doing about a 1/2 inch. So if I pulled it in just about a 1/4 inch or a little bit more. It's not that much, but it just makes such a difference. especially in the smaller zipper pouches, because those baggy linings are bad. Then when I get to the top, I'm like, oh, I better veer back into my own lane. Oh, I wasn't at the top. I'm still at the bottom of the bag. Ha ha ha. That's okay. It's not going to hurt it to have it a little different there. Thought I was almost done. I got excited. Okay, now when I get close to the top, I'll veer back into my own lane. I'd like to say me living alone has kind of made me talk to myself a lot in my head and have those conversations when I'm sewing and thinking I'm driving a car and stuff. But no, that's just me. Trim this thread off. Sometimes I leave it, sometimes I don't, but I know some of you get a little, it bothers you if the threads are hanging, so I will trim my threads. My threads trim there. My threads are there. Okay. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Rehydration. Okay. So here's my bag. See, I want to have this. I put it this way to show you guys. So I like to have it inside out. I think we've pretty much done about what we can do with totes. Is there anything else you guys wanted to see with tote bags that I haven't shown you all? Yeah, right sides together. Sometimes you have to stop and think, which way do I do it? It does. That's one of the things I do with my patrons is instead of just thinking through it, pausing the video on YouTube, I pause the video, figure out my problem, turn the video back on, and then tell you about either fix it or show you how I fix it. On Patreon, I actually leave the video running and I talk through it like they were sitting right here. Oh, Robin Suzanne. By the way, my middle name is Suzanne. And when I'm in trouble, even I use my full name on myself. I need to sew my corners. So I just keep it rolling and I talk through it with them and then I thank them for listening, for helping me through my problem. Now that I've always talked through things in my head, I've always had like, if you know you're going to have a conversation with like maybe, going up to the auto parts store, they're going to give you a hard time because you're a woman and you're not there with a man and they don't think you know about how to repair a car. So you kind of have that conversation in your head ahead of time before you even go there. I have those conversations, but now that I live alone, sometimes I have them out loud just because, I can, and it gets a little quiet around here with nobody else to talk to. Because it's like you're not going to always talk to people on the phone because you can't pester everyone all day long. Plus I'll never get anything done if I'm actually on the phone talking to people. So you just talk it, just for whatever reason, saying it out loud, just because you can hear it, or taking pictures of your quilt so that you can see it. It just makes it different. So it just makes a huge difference so that you can, you can just hear what it sounds like and if it sounds stupid or not, or if that fixing the problem that way makes sense. The cats don't want me to talk to them. They don't like, oh, Miss Mocha is still here in the curtain. Huh. I wondered about that. They don't like when I talk to them too much. They like quiet. They don't like raised voices or anything like that. So when I start talking to myself or I start making a video, they used to run all the time. They're getting a little more used to it now. Okay. It's funny is when I was making the outer bag too, I sewed up one corner and I had all the clips in the other. I turned the bag right side out and I was trying to press them so they looked nice, and I couldn't because it was still had clips in it because I hadn't sewn the corner yet. Some days I know that I should only make, you know, a crumb blocks, and I shouldn't try to sew anything important because I'm not having a well thought out day. Especially if you like don't sleep well the night before. Problem solving isn't always good. Back stitch at the end. I think if you're not hurting anyone else and you're not causing like damage to yourself, whether mentally or physically, I don't see a problem with whatever it is you have to do. If you have to jog in place to help you figure out a problem because you need to have your body moving to get your brain going, if your Brian's not behaving, then, you know, if it works for you, it works for you. I mean, if sports players wear the same socks all the time without washing them, or they always eat a corn dog before a big game, then what's to say quilters can't talk to themselves? Now when I do my lining corners, I just stitch straight across, but when I do my outer ones, I do like to back stitch on the seam. Do I need to? I don't know. Nobody ever talks about it, so I don't know if anyone else does it, but I do it because I feel like that's a weak point, and it just makes me feel better if I put a couple extra stitches. Because really, what's it gonna hurt? Jody thinks she's great. Jody is perfect. Hi, Mocha. No, you can't come over here. The sewing machine is off, but I'm not done. I'm gonna sew some more. Oh, you know what the problem is, I think? When I stay in the craft room and I'm in here after 4 o'clock, because they like to eat between 4 and 4:30. So if anyone wakes up, they come in here and they all start staring at me until I close up the shop. But I'm not going to stop and feed anyone. They're just going to have to deal with it. All right, right sides together. Guys, just stop me if I'm doing anything crazy. Now we're getting to the serious part. If we do any mistakes here, we'll really have to get out the seam ripper. Here she comes. Here she comes. There she is. There she is. Oh, look at me. I'm so pretty. Everybody pay attention to me. Mama, don't you want to feed me? I'm so beautiful. I haven't eaten in 3 hours. Who cares if I have a tummy ache? What's a good idea? Couldn't have been mine. All right, let's take a break. Who wanted this? Michelle got the turkeys. Who wants Christmas with Miss Mocha? Yeah, she doesn't like things on her. Oh, reinforcing the seam. You got it. Okay, the crochet hooky, she wanted the last one and didn't get it, so you can have this one, but you've got to send me an email to RsIslandCrafts. Don't chew on it. RsIslandCrafts@gmail.com, and there's no mocha teeth in it. So I will put you down for the Christmas one. The crochet. Crochet is really where I started my crafting. And I branched out from there. I could crochet anything. I love to crochet. You know, it's not, I'm going to say I don't have time for it. It's just I run out of time, that I do so many other things that I just run out of time. Yeah, Jody, I like double stitching. That it just makes me feel better that I know, because sometimes even when I turn a tote out, I'm already using a 2.0 stitch length with such a tight little thing anyways, with a little bulkiness, that it just makes me feel better, because sometimes when I turn it out, you could see the stitches a little bit, like they were pulling. So if I just go back, you know what? Stitch It, you send me your name too. You send me your name and email address, and I will find something for you. I'll send you one of my Halloween ones if you're okay with Halloween. If you're not okay, just let me know and I'll send you something else. Because you've tried a couple times and not everyone else has been jumping at it. So if you want one, you got one. The postcards are already making. They only cost me a stamp, and I have a very generous beneficiary that loves to send me stamps. Yes, yes, it does. It does remind me of buttonholes. You're right. I think I remember thinking about that at one point when I saw it, because it's kind of like a buttonhole when you turn it around that way. And you can also do, when you put the handles in a bag, you know, you have a whole bag and you have a cutout handle here. It's the same process-ish. You're welcome. Do I do that to my straps too? When I put my straps in, I went ahead and just did a stay stitch right here to hold them, because I don't like to put pins or anything. Now I have an extra 1/2 inch sticking up the top. When I put my straps now, I'm going to sew right along here at the 3/8 inch. And then when I turn the bag out, I'm going to stitch 2 more times across the top. So that gives it 1, 2, 4 times I've stitched my strap down. So I feel like it's really good. That way I don't have to do any back stitching. Mocha, stop. This bag already has an owner. I can't put your fur on it. You're such a sweetie pie, but no. Somebody's already claimed the bag. So we'll see if she still wants it after she sees this video. What you got, huh? Go ahead, rub your face on that. That's fine. I'm sure that you can't do much with the side of your face. I'm sure it scratches a lot. Yeah, that way I don't have to, I don't back stitch very well. I tend to curve off of, what are you? She's stealing the cutting board that I use the Dollar Tree cutting board that I make templates out of. She's trying to steal it. She loves plastic bags. If I have Ziploc bags on a shelf that she can get to, she chews on them. She's the one that if I sleep in too late, she comes and finds my fingernails and just pulls and chews on my fingernails or my toenails to try to wake me up. Don't worry, not that my toenails are super long. She just chews on the tips of my toes then. She's a troublemaker. Yeah, so that gives I feel better when I put that 1/2 inch up. Some people make their straps level with the bag, but then when you turn it right sides out, I mean, I'm always afraid that it's going to work its way out. I want you to be able to put heavy stuff in here. She's chewing on the plastic case to the scissors now. So I'm not going to leave any opening. I'm going to do it all the way around. And yes, I clip the heck out of it. I put them everywhere. I don't want to worry about any puckers anywhere. I don't want anything moving. And I find that if I do this, it kind of holds everything in place. You could use your walking foot, but while I do like my walking foot, it has its place, like when I'm doing my quilting. I don't like it for this because I just can't see. What are you doing? Here. Don't go on the laptop, okay? Charlotte, you do what? You do that? You do the same thing with your straps like I do? You're not going to be happy because I'm going to sew. She's purring. I used to leave my straps right at the top, but it just felt like it was like floppy and stuff. It just didn't work for me. So I went with a 1/4 inch and I'm like, but now with the 1/2 inch and stitching around twice, then I know everything is going to be nice and secure. I have to find ways to work around my not ineptitude, but the things that I just can't do very well, that I need to find things that I can make it look right and work the way it's supposed to, but work around my problems. So that's just what I do with the handles. I like to press open the quilted outer panel seam here. I just let my lining one fold over. I like everything I say to myself. Well, Charlotte, your comment says I do, and I don't know what I do. Are you getting married? Just kidding. That was not very funny. Do you talk to yourself too? I find that even though it's not open all the way down and I have it folded over at the bottom, that it just leaves less of a lump when I'm stitching the rest of the bag around and I flip it. Yeah. And I've got 5 lines of quilting. The fabric is folded over 4 times, and I've got the strip of batting in it. If I wanted it to be really even sturdier, I could use some interfacing, but I like to have a quilted bag that... Sue, you're lucky we're running late today. Oh, I gotta plug my phone in just so we don't die. I like to make sure, I want the quilted bag to have a soft handle, so I don't put any interfacing in there, but I feel that it still allows it to be durable. It reminds me of those straps, the webbing straps. All right, let's be careful. Let me plug you in. Are we all good? We're all good. We're plugged in, so now we don't have to worry. I got plenty of battery on the Chromebook. I was laughing with my daughter. She actually gave me this Chromebook because she went out and bought an Apple Mac laptop and stuff to do gaming on. I've had it for, I think she decided that we've had it for like 5 or 6 years, and I probably had it for 2 or 3. I got a notification today that it did its final update, and it's not going to update my Chromebook anymore, that I should just go out and buy a newer model because basically this is trash now and it'll never update again. I'm like, isn't that nice of Chromebook to tell me? We're not going to we're not going to put any updates on it. We're not going to check it for viruses anymore. So just go ahead and spend more money and get a new one. There's nothing wrong with the one you have, but let's just buy something new. I have a hard time with technology like that. Sue, did you get all your errands done? You're all set now? I was wondering if you were going to make it. I'm still sticking with my 2.0 stitch length, my 3/8 inch seam allowance. Yeah, but see the Chromebooks, I'll have to check because the Chromebooks have their own little virus thing, like they do something or whatever. So, yeah, send me your address today and I will put it in the mail tomorrow. Since I thought tomorrow was Sunday, I've actually got an extra day to mail stuff out. I was just finishing up something I was sending out in the mail. I was sending out a fabric postcard to someone else, and I'm like, okay, well, it's raining, so I'll wait a couple minutes before I put it in the mail. I looked out the window and the mailman just drove by, and I'm like, gosh darn it. Some days he comes at 3 in the afternoon, and other days he comes at 10:30 in the morning. I don't know what's going on with his route. The desktop that I have that also is so old that you can't update anymore, I've got Komodo on that. That's something we've always used and had good luck with it. If any of you ever have one of those days where you're just having, life just really stinks and everything is horrible, that's nothing horrible, but you're just having one of those days where everything feels horrible. If you ever feel like you would just need a little pick-me-up, let me know. Send me your mailing address and I'll pop a postcard or a fabric note card in the mail or something. I keep extra of them around just for happy mail. Because I know it's hard to ask, but I'm giving you permission to be that person, to feel like you're begging for something, but you're really not. So if you want a fabric postcard, I will mail you one. And if I don't have any, like I said, I'll send you a card. Sometimes we just need a little something, something to get us through. Because while I know I buy the supplies, like when I have to make the fabric postcard, the little plastic envelope and all of that stuff, but I buy it in bulk, like 500 of them at a time. Oh, you're having one of those days where you drop stuff? That just drives me crazy. Come to find out, I say I don't like doing it, but I always do it anyways, but some people will probably relate to this. My doctor told me I don't have carpal tunnel, but I have some other type of nerve issue between working at the restaurants and always doing like fry baskets and grills and stuff, that I have nerve damage in both of my wrists. So I tend to drop things a lot because of it. So when it gets bad, like I know it's been bad a couple of days now, I'll have to wear braces at night. So I'll wear some wrist brace for a couple nights and then I'll stop dropping things. So that's usually what my thing is. Oh, okay, Charlotte. I was wondering what you were doing, that's all. Okay, now normally, everything's stitched around. There's no holes anywhere. We have our hole in our pocket here. So if we would remember, like when you're doing a zipper pouch, it's a little bit harder to do, but you can still do it. But this zipper's closed. Oh, I got threads hanging off. So the zipper is closed, but I can't get my hand in there. So what you do is you kind of feel for where the zipper is. I can feel that the pull tab is right here. So you see that, let me get down here somewhere. See, I'm just pinching the pull tab right there, and I just kind of hold it, and I can slide my lining, and it undoes my zipper, and I can get my hand in there no problem now. So I just put my hand all the way through the bag. Make sure your zipper is open all the way. Just you want to have as much space as you can, and you don't want to rub your outer bag that you took all that time to work on against the zipper teeth. Jackie, that does not surprise me. Okay, we're going to play that medical game. I still have the trigger finger right here. I got it from mowing the yard. You can get it from like riding a bike and stuff. So from mowing the yard last summer so often and holding the handles the wrong way, I ended up with trigger finger. Trigger finger, that's terrible. It's painful, isn't it? And then all of a sudden my fingers will get jammed, and then you have to just, oops, sorry. You just have to pop them open like that. Should have done that. You must have made a ton of masks. Then you just work it through. See, we had that nice opening. Now look at this. Look, here it comes. Isn't it just like magic? It actually pulls through this opening easier than the lining on the bottom of the bag. Oh, guys, we got to put it back. We can't do this yet. I did the same thing with the puppy one. All right, go back in. Grab this. I want to sew the bottom of my lining to the bottom of my bag so that the lining doesn't pull out. Go back. I think if I could make a mistake, I have made it today, and you know, I don't want to make any more, but okay. So that's how you open the zipper if you forget to do it. Now let's sew the bottom and our lining together. I just take my bag. This gets, every time I do it, it's very confusing to my brain. So I take my bottom and I lay it down nice and neat. Oh, yes. I bought the braces for it, but for me, it hit right in the sore spot, so I couldn't wear them. I just do a lot of the massage, and it's pretty good. It's taken about a year or so to fix. Then I find my bottom, and then I just grab it, and I just like when you're like flipping pancakes or eggs or whatever or something, you just when you're taking an upside down cake and you just flip it over real quick. And I line up my center seams. In other videos I showed you where I would stitch a second line on the corners. I don't do that anymore because I'm sewing it now. Now my lining was stitched smaller, so it doesn't line up right there. It doesn't matter. It's inside your bag anyway. As I mentioned, I did turn my bag when I had it just as the outside of the tote. I turned it right side out. I took it over to my iron and I pressed my corners down nice and flat, because I find when I do this that sometimes they don't want to, and it's weird because my seam line is here and I'm stitching the extra there, but this part doesn't want to poke out and I can't get my hands in there to poke it out anymore because, I don't know, it just doesn't work. But if I give it a nice press, then it seems to work fine. We've had not just the COVID going around here, but there's been a couple weird bugs going around. There's this you get this weird thing with your sinuses. You know, normally you don't like run fevers and chills with your sinuses, but it starts out with like a sinus feeling. Like when I had that head cold, it was really weird because you had all these extra symptoms that were just strange. And there's also, it's coming up to that time when kids go back to school, this stomach bug goes around. And then, of course, it's not just school-age children that get it. They give it to their parents and the cashier at McDonald's and whoever else. So this gets a little bit, where's my thingy? It gets a little bit fiddly at this point. And normally I would like avoid fiddly things if I could, but I just like the outcome so much that I just suffer through it. Yeah, the flu, it's coming up to that time. It's September, so the northerners, if they're going to start coming down, they're going to start coming down soon. And our weather your weather hasn't gotten cold enough and ours hasn't gotten nice enough yet, but they're going to start coming down soon. And a lot of times we see the early flu in September. I don't get my flu shot until sometime around the middle of October because I tend to get it at the end of flu season. I tend to get things more like March and April. So I find that if I just wait that extra month to get the flu shot, even though my doctor argues with me and the pharmacist at Sam's argues with me, but I find it's better for me if I just wait. Yeah, it's strange. Jackie, you're talking like that, the stomach flu and the bug and stuff like that? Yeah. And right now, everyone, if you, like we found out Robbie just got sick a couple days ago, but he's already feeling better. So we know pretty much what he had is what's basically been going around. Hopefully he hasn't had like actual COVID symptoms, but because of it, he's had to go and get a test done, and he's waiting on the results and stuff like that. Oh, the sinuses, yeah, that was crazy. That one put me down for several days. I've never, I mean, it wasn't like I was feeling like dreadful, like, like The Walking Dead, but I had the fever and chills with a fever, and then it still had the hot flashes and the chills with no fever, and it just lasted for a long time. And I just felt, back in the day, you would still go to work and you would still go to school because you weren't that sick, but it was enough that you want to whine and complain to someone and lay on the couch wrapped up in a blanket and not do anything. Yeah, exactly. That's what I do. But they're like, oh, we've already had 6 cases where we've given them the Theraflu, or not whatever shot, the medicine. Is it Theraflu? I think is the over-the-counter stuff. But they have that flu stuff you get when you first get it and you have lesser symptoms. They're like, we've already given it out 6 times, and I'm like, yeah, well, I'm staying home and avoiding all of you all, but I need to have it at the end of the year. Yeah, they won't let you go back to work, and like at my daughter's work, they have to have 14 days of no symptoms, and they have to have like so many negative tests and stuff before they can go back to work. And I understand the reasoning why, but when you're on the other end of it and you've had a sinus infection and you call off sick, then I mean, you can get a doctor's note for that, of course, but when you get like a stomach bug or food poisoning and you have to follow all of these tests, it does get frustrating and for those people, but it's whatever's good for everyone and not just for one. I backstitch the beginning and the end here, but I don't do anything fancy. This is not doing nothing but holding in my lining. So if something happens structurally and this seam comes undone, I just get a lining that I can pull out. It's not gonna like cause any problems. That's very sweet of you, Lisa. I was put out of mass business once you could start buying them. And then, like, Miranda was working at Wendy's when I was making masks for them. They just started supplying them. Our hospital, they have their own set of volunteers that do things so that way they can have things done identically and specifically a certain way. So they've never wanted to have anyone make masks for them locally. And the majority of our doctor's offices are connected to the hospital, so it's the same situation. What they like is a lot of people are providing meals for them because they're so busy, or they take their, if they ever get a meal break, they take that 15 minutes to take a nap versus eating. So people are bringing them, you know, boxes of meals from restaurants and snacks and drinks and stuff like that. Okay, now it's a little different because you have this weird thing that goes like this here. So I just go into my pocket, and instead of going in my lining, because that just brings me back around, I find where my outer bag is, and I follow that around to the bottom, and then I start pulling it through. You just don't want to be too rough with it. You don't have to be super delicate, gentle, because we backstitched everywhere. So I kind of do the pull with the right hand and pull down with the left until it all comes out. Hey, we still got bunches of people here. Thank you guys for hanging out through the whole process. You're either having a good time, you're doing what you gotta do at home, or you have nothing better to do. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's not that you don't have anything better to do, but sometimes we have to like go and pick up the kids, or we've got to go and do dinner or something like that. So we have to stop whatever we're doing, whether we want to or not. Now, before you close up anything, let me get rid of some of these threads. Go back into your pocket. Find your corners, pop them. Oh yeah, see, giving them a good press help them, because otherwise they roll in like when you see stuffed animals that have those big lips and then mouth that rolls in and stuff like that. So they pop out nice here. I had to go through afterwards. See how this, it wants to be like this. This doesn't want to. So just kind of bully it. Because in between here, I have the lining fabric also. I can feel the lining. So you just force it around a little bit. We did that extra stitching, so everything will be nice. Now, for me, since I'm new to turning everything through the lining, I almost shipped out that doggy bag without closing up the pocket, because I stitched it all around and I'm like, oh, I'm done. So I'm going to take my corner here, take my turning tool, pop my corner out nicely. You can take this over and give it a good press, which I'm going to wake up my iron so I can do that. And let me see. So here comes the dilemma. It's like, what do you want to do? I know what I'm going to do because I'm going to, I took you on a walk with the dog. Excellent. If I were making this bag for myself, I have light purple thread in. I would just go ahead and fold this down and stitch it straight across with the light purple thread. It's going to be deep down in the pocket, but since I know this is going to a customer and someone's actually paying me money for it, I'm going to change my thread because I know I will forget to close up this pocket. I just know myself, because otherwise I would sew around the top with my light purple. Let me move this so Mocha don't lay on it. Grab my dark purple thread and change it out so that it's not noticeable. And I think that's one of the things that if you want to decide the difference between, this is where I store my threads. Mocha has learned how to pop these handles up so that she can get in there and get the threads. She's a sneaky little girl. So the difference between something that is just like homemade and not that it's made badly, but if you take these little tiny things and you change them up, it's going to take your bags to go, or your projects of anything from, oh, that looks like she made it herself, even though it's beautiful, to, wow, that looks like she got it from a store. And I think that's just really crazy because, like I said, if you check what's in the stores, their stuff isn't all that nice anyway. Oops, sorry, bumped you. They don't always have the nicest looking, good quality stuff. That's why things only last a season or two and you can't pass things down from child to child anymore because people just don't, the companies just don't make them well. But when you're buying from an individual person, which of course generally I know it tends to be more expensive, but you know the type of quality you're getting. You'll know the person that made it, even if you're just buying it from an Etsy random person that you don't know. Hopefully they've taken the time to do it right. Now, that double-sided tape, if you're having struggles with this, you can go ahead. Thanks, Jody. Teresa, I'm sorry if I've already missed you. Bye-bye. You can put that little double-sided tape in there to hold this closed, because I know sometimes for me it shifts and like one end will be, one side of the pocket will be sticking out and they won't be lined up perfectly. But when we're doing it in the pocket instead of the bottom of the tote, it really doesn't matter. It's going to be, you can see it down there, sure, but it's not noticeable. We are probably within a half an hour from finishing up. It does take, like I said, if you guys want to stop, just let me know. Are we still up there in numbers? Oh yeah, we're still up there in numbers. We'll keep going. We'll keep going. Now my hole is from here to here. I have these little knitting needles that I don't use. They're for knitting like larger socks and stuff like that. What I like to do is I like to use this to put it into my hole here, and as I'm stitching, this is my stiletto, because why pay for a stiletto when I already have this? I could always get some of that clay and put it on there to make a handle, but this works perfectly fine. It fits right underneath the little part of my sewing machine. So I put this in here, and as I'm sewing, I kind of hold this a little taut, and that stops it for me from getting that little extra bubble of fabric that you can sometimes get at the end. So I start, you know what? First you thread your machine, then you sew with your machine. Just because you put the spool on top doesn't mean it's going to automatically thread itself. When they say it's an automatic threader, it's not that automatic. I can't use my automatic threader. I just can't get it to work. I just can't do it. Oh no, Cindy, I could say that's terrible, because we know that that doesn't feel good. Trigger finger, I thought it was only for soldiers because you know what it's called, and it could be any finger. And it's, sorry guys, I'm going to block your view, but I'm just going to stitch about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. I'm still sticking with my 2.0 stitch length because it's my favorite. I like the nice tight stitching. I go about 1/4 of an inch or so before the hole starts so that I know I'm closing up every part of it. Line it up, back stitch, find my foot pedal, put my knitting needle in. Yeah, so I just give it a nice pressure, and it allows everything, since I gave it a good press, it allows them to lay down and behave themselves. And done. I think I usually have a thinner one. I think I changed them out. Trim your threads. Alrighty, now we have a closed up pocket. Check for mocha fur, threads, and lint. Tuck your pocket in and poke it down in the corners with your finger. What is my machine? I am sewing on a Brother CS6000i, but I also have a Juki HDL4600, I believe. It needs a spa day, and I found a guy that lives just not too far the next county over that will come to the house. But with everything as crazy it is right now, I really just don't want to bring anyone into my home. I have taken other machines to a store out in the next town over in Fort Myers, but I just don't like that guy. He looks down on you if you don't have the big $5,000 machines. He tells you that your machine is a piece of crap. But hey, look, I've got this one on sale. Maybe you should just buy yourself a new machine. Because you know the real quilters have this machine. I'm like, no, sorry, dude. My $150 machine works perfectly well. Thank you so much. Yeah, I bought mine on Amazon. You watch, they go on sale because it's like, what, $4.49 or something? I got it for $150. I picked it up as a second machine so that when I come across things like this, when I need a spa day, that I'm okay. So can you see my lining? It's a little, it still has a little bit of bag. I'm gonna test out by putting some lightweight interfacing on my next linings and see how that works. But still, it's not super baggy in there. Now I have all of this mess, so I need to press this and fix that up. But for that, I need my ham. Someone was so sweet and sent me this ham, and I use it all the time now. You can roll up a towel and do the same thing, or put it on the end of those small pressing boards that have the spot for like the sleeves and stuff. Yeah, this little Brother sewing machine, it's a big bang for the bucks. I don't know, Sue. You know, and I'm going over there and I'm spending money, and then he keeps my machine for, he's like, well, I'll get to it when I get to it. I'll add you to the end of the list. Well, how long is it going to be? I don't know. Maybe a week or so, 2.5 weeks later. For no good reason, I do like to start over on the side seams. I pull my lining down so that, bring my handle up. I just want to have a little bit of my outer bag on the inside so that I know my lining isn't going to pop up when I sew it. And if it does, it's not that big of a deal. I don't freak out about it, but I try to start with no lining showing, and then maybe I'll get lucky and it won't show. And if not, it's a cute purple. So if it pops out, it pops out. I tried just going around and putting clips on it without pressing it, but you know what? It takes about the same amount of time, and the clips just didn't work. Uh-oh, I think Lisa's a little bit farther behind. She needs to hit refresh. She's fine. Sometimes people say, well, tell them to refresh so they catch up. But then they're going to miss everything that they missed. And as long as they can carry on a conversation with what's over on the side with you guys' chat, it's okay. I definitely put water in my iron. I got this off of Amazon for like $25. It's a Sunbeam. Sunbeams have been around for generations and generations. I like that it's blue. It's about the only reason, price-wise, is what I got it, but it's blue and I think it's really cute. So it's my second one. They last me, as long as I don't drop them on the floor, they usually last me about anywhere from 2 to 5 years. On average, about 2.5. I think this one only lasted me 2 years because when you fill it up here, if you overfill it and the water runs down into here, it causes problems and eventually it just stops getting hot. Oh, don't want to share, you should go ahead and delete that. You don't want to have your email out on a live stream like that. You can contact each other through Instagram or Facebook or something, but you don't want to have your email out there because crazy people will get it, especially on a live stream. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, you don't want to deal with it. You don't want to deal with just spam, and you definitely don't want to deal with anyone who's smarter than I am and knows how to do bad things with your email address. If you guys can't contact each other in any way, you can always email me and I will forward the email to the persons. It's such a struggle. That's scary too, yeah. That's crazy. I'm constantly getting people, they're like, is your husband home? Or do you know how to do it? I had to have my washing machine repaired, and he just thought I was being crazy because all 4 shocks on it went, so it wouldn't like spin anymore. So the last couple washes, I had to wring the clothes out by hand. I paid over $100 for a 5-year warranty, so I'm like, get the guy out here and fix it. And he was just going on and on a little bit until I told him, I said, hey dude, I'm the only one that lives here. He's like, oh. I'm like, yeah, I don't have enough clothes to overload a washing machine, thank you very much. He's like, well, sometimes they just go. And I'm like, well, then I think that's what happened here. Because I don't have enough dirty towels to overload it. It's summertime, so nobody's wearing blue jeans. I would have thought by now that we got past the men are better than women thing. Because a lot of times neither of them are good at something, or women are better than men at some things. And Miranda can rebuild an engine of a car and work on, change tires and all that, but Robbie can't because it's just not one of his things. I mean, changing a tire and all that, but he's never worked on a motor of a car. Plus nowadays you really don't get to work on too many cars anymore. They all have to go into the shop. People are crazy, Sue. It's like you spend your hard-earned money, you kind of want, you expect certain things. I do 2 lines of stitching around the top. I usually do one at about 1/8 of an inch and one about a generous 1/4 of an inch. But I know I've mentioned this before, but now, yeah, we all have to learn sometimes. Everything you have to learn. And you can treat someone with kindness and ask them some questions without it sounding like, hey person, I think you're an idiot and you're not going to know this, so I'm going to treat you like a child or something. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I had totally my fault, so I can't really blame them too much, but I forgot that after I got the new AC unit that you've got to suck the junk out of it through the outside vent where the water drips out. You've got to clean it because it gets a lot of slime buildup here in Florida. I don't know if it does it anywhere else. But I completely forgot about it with the new unit. I happened to be looking at it and the water was dripping great. And I'm like, great, everything's looking fine. And then all of a sudden it got super hot in here and it wasn't working. So he's like, do you have anyone that's mechanically inclined at your house right now? And I'm like, Lord help me, I don't want to go in the attic. It's like 300 degrees up there. I'm like, no, it's just me. And then he told me I had to vacuum it out with the wet and dry vac. And I'm like, I have to be mechanically inclined to put a hose on an outlet, another hose, and suck the water out? I'm like, come on, dude. But I do the second one down first. I do the 1/4 of an inch, and then I sew between that line and the top one, so I only have to think once when I'm stitching around. Oh, do I want to use the dark thread? No, because I don't want it on the lining. I've noticed that a lot of the actual sewing machine dealership, like the big companies, they're really good because they know, you know, you're dealing with a probably billion-dollar industry, not just millions. So many people do it. I was melting. I was melting. It gets hot in here. After 80 degrees, it's just super hot because, you know, I feel like temperatures outside and the humidity all and over in triple digits. So when your AC gets up to 85, 90, you're just like, oh, I'm melting. After I became pregnant with Robbie, I also got claustrophobic. I don't know why all of a sudden that happened, but apparently it's fairly common when you're pregnant. So I don't do the attic. It's not like a normal northern attic. There's no room up there. It's sweltering hot too. I try to make sure I have, like when I have the maintenance done on my AC unit, I try to have it done like early in the spring or late in the fall and stuff, so the poor AC guy doesn't have to go up there for just a maintenance issue. You know, if your AC breaks down, yeah, go up in the attic, I'm so sorry. But just because I need to have something clean, I try to be nice. It's super hot up there. Ah, that looks good. I'm so professional. That looks good. Did I do it that way last time? I don't know. Yeah, Florida crawl spaces are small. You can't stand up in the attic. We don't store things in the attic either because it's too hot up there. Everything melts. Christmas ornaments, candles, you can't put a candle up there. We put a Christmas tree up there once, an artificial one, but then it was covered in spiders. So this is where I like to have it to where it's opened, the seam at the top, because right at this intersection, it's so hard to sew over. So I kind of just guide it through the back and gently push it through the front. And as I'm going, I just keep that lining tucked in. So now my handle, I don't know if you guys can see, but here's the top of my bag and my handle is right here. So about my thumb's width down, so I'm going to be able to stitch over it twice now and get that reinforcement. Having the sewing mat here does keep the movability of the tote bag going through. Makes it a little bit harder, but it also, this machine is so lightweight because it's all plastic that as I get sewing, it just kind of slides all over the place. So I took the little rubber mat out from underneath it so I can slide it back and forth, but I definitely have to have that when I sew. Next Quilt As You Go project is going to be a cover. I just put an old t-shirt that one of the kids outgrew over my machine to keep the dust off of it. So I think I need to have an official cover put on it now. Back to a side seam. If you go slow and just kind of guide everything through so it doesn't get stuck in one stop. Sometimes if I don't, I'll get like that weird long stitch on the inside, but if I guide it gently, hopefully it's not there today now that I've mentioned it to you. I've often thought that maybe wearing quilting gloves might help because just trying to guide this through. You're trying to keep the lining on the inside, keep everything moving smoothly at a steady pace. I'm losing my point up here, but I'm okay. I'm okay. I kind of look at these flying geese more like a mountain, and not all mountains have a pokey peak at the top. Some of them are just flat and they plateau. Then you've got to aim for where you started. I like to put where I start and stop close to the seam, but not right at it. So when you're looking at the tote, if there's a little wobble or something, it's on the side of it and not right in the front. I just pull my thread, give myself a little bit of a loop. Center my needle, and then I'm going to start stitching. And I'm stitching in between my line and the top of the bag. Just get it started. I can trim these threads. And now I know my lining will not be in the way because it's already held down, so I can just cruise slowly over the side seams. And I just try to keep my needle in the between the stitches in the top of the bag, and it's good. I'm not worried about it being perfect because let's face it, the very first line I stitched down is probably not perfect. If you measure everywhere, I'm sure it's kind of going like this a little bit somewhere. Just keep your handles up so you don't sew them down in a weird spot. Seam. If we go to driving an analogy, the side seam is like, oh, we're going by a hospital or we see a cop on the side of the road. Go slow. Then we speed up. I told you guys, Robin at the end of the day gets kind of a little bit goofy. So I do important things early. I try to only do my videos early in the day, like before 1 o'clock. Because later on in the day, it just gets a little crazy. All right, make sure that looks good. Back to the beginning. Oh, look at that. We finished it. We only made 38 mistakes. Well, yeah, if we're going to take credit for the goodness, we're going to take credit for the bad parts too. You guys have to share in it. So this is the tote bag that you and I designed together. Majority of it's been done on the live streams. So the only thing left really, so we have a slip pocket. Have a slip pocket there. We have our zipper pocket with a contrasting fun because it's just fun to have, you know, a fabric like that. So the only thing left now is to put the tassel on it. Some pliers. We can put a little hangy doodad on it too while we're here. This is the case that I picked up at Michael's. It's to put photos in. So I have one that I use for embroidery floss, and then one that I have for all my doodads. So it's really great to put stuff in. If you have embroidery floss, you can sort it by colors. I can only think of Anchor embroidery floss, and that is not even the most common one. All right, somebody tell me the name of the embroidery floss. Step on it for the yellow light. Halloween totes for the youngest grands. I love to do Halloween totes. DMC, thank you. DMC, yes. DMC, they fit in there beautifully. Mine is buried under other stuff. Okay, so we need to pick a tassel. Let's pick it out of the other one. They're all the same. Let's see what we have. We have purple. Now our lining, remember, is light. I brought this blender fabric from the outside in for the pocket, the white to match the white around, so then we have that. Do we want to go with a light colored purple or a dark colored purple? We could use a white too if you'd like. So here is the dark colored purple. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me see. Come on, video, catch up with Robin. So there's our dark, and here's our light. And then, I don't know, I guess they put them in here to keep them clean. Like maybe the ink will run off from the other ones, the dyes, but here's the white. And there's what the white looks like. So we've got dark, white, dark. Who's a little on the odd side? Oh, all of us when we get older? Yeah. I'm not crazy, just a little odd, sure. All right, looks like we're going with the dark. Sorry, you've been outvoted. We live in a crafting democracy. Now, I also have, oh, look. Look, I even have a medium. The medium won't match at all, but look, there's a medium. That's fun. Now I have little tags, little charms, that I couldn't think of anywhere else to do them. When I put it on the doggy one, I just... Really? How many times have I been in here? You've never been a problem? Got live stream anxiety or something? So then over here, we have charms. We can put a quilting one. I wish that the person that asked to purchase this was here. I don't think she is. But I have all of these charms. So we can put a sewing machine, an iron. I had puppy paw prints that I put on the puppy one. I have a button. So there's a Singer sewing machine. And we have a pair of scissors. I have an old-fashioned sewing machine. No, we don't. I gotta pick that up before the cats try to eat it. Hold on. Don't hit your head under the table. Okay. Then, oh, look at this one. This one's got like scroll work on it. Oh, there's the embroidery floss. Got an iron. How about a button? Button, who's got the button? What do y'all think? Should we put, what should we put on here fun for her? Now these have like wings and made with a smile and kitty cats. I don't think that'll work for this. So let me give you the option. I will say a button. This pair of scissors. And then an iron. Oh, look at the little tiny sewing machine. Button, Iron is a chore. Yeah, we don't want a chore. Okay, so we'll put the button on. I think the button's very cute. That'd be my choice too. And then everything, I know exactly where it is. It's not in the neatest spot in the room when I put it away. It's underneath the desk where nobody sits because I use it as an ironing station. But I know where it is and it's easy to get to. Oh, let me get one of my little lobster claw thingies here. This way, if they don't like it, they can always unclip the clasp and put it on something else or take it off. I haven't left you, I'm here. The lobster claw is just connected to something else. I had to disconnect it. Okay, so I have the little lobster claw. So we'll take these jump rings. Well, Sue, I haven't been for so many years. It took the kids moving out for me to have a dedicated space to feel that, I guess it's to give myself permission to do it. Okay, so this guy. These are silver. So those are really shiny and fancy. These are just crafting ones. So they're nothing nice. I lost my tassel. I just was thinking about that one doctor game. Is it water on the knee? Operation. Put that on. And you don't do jump rings out this way. You do them, back to front. You go past it just a little bit and then bring it back. Make sure it's going to stay closed. There we go. Now for this one, I do like to use the silver ones. They're just so pretty. I've spent so much time looking for things where I've only had like 20 minutes to craft something, and I've spent 45 minutes looking for something, or just all my 20 minutes. So it's like you really got to have things organized to the point where you can find it. Now my fabric room is a total disaster, but I tell you, I can go in there and put my hands on anything and find it within moments until I go and clean it, and then I can't find anything. These are a little bit finicky though to make sure they're closed. I think it's because it's a softer. No, I wouldn't cry as long as you can find what you got. I am not a neat, cleaned, everything in its place type of person. I am trying to be that person in my old age just so that I can actually find what I need. It's so frustrating. Since I rearranged the rooms and I put all these new bookcases in, I still haven't found half of what I need. I've just been doing without because I can't find it. Oh, I forgot to put the button on. Son of a gun. There we go. Button on. So these little things, they're not super expensive if you buy them in bulk on Amazon, but it adds a little bit of an extra special touch to the bag that's, hopefully makes the people happy and makes me stand out a little bit. I think Sue likes to be disorganized. I think she works better that way. Not that you like it and enjoy it or anything, but I think that's just how your brain works, that, or you just don't have, I know in the past, I don't have time. I need to craft. I want to sew. I don't want to clean and organize, which is why I've learned that if I put everything away as soon as I'm done with it and put it in its place and force myself to behave, then I know when I go looking for it later, it's going to be there. So that's what I did. I put that away. I could have left it all out on the table and I could say, okay, oh gosh, it's 20 minutes to 6. I need to go feed the cats and make dinner, so I'm just going to close the door and ignore it till tomorrow. But when I come tomorrow, then I've got to start my day out by cleaning off my table. And that's just discouraging to me. I want to feel like I can just jump right in and get creative and do everything that I want and not have to clean first thing in the morning. Okay, so now, as I said, this is already spoken for. If she should decide she doesn't want it after she sees the bag or sees the price or something like that, then I will freak out because I thought I twisted my handles. Oh God, that would be terrible to twist the handles at this point after I sewed so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and thank all. Yeah, we still got most of the same people here, so thank you everyone for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you taking the time today. I thought it was something, but it's the design and the pattern. So that is as easy as putting a zipper in. Look, I struggled the whole time. I made mistakes. I had to do things over. It takes longer to do stuff in a live stream than it would take me normally. I'm not even going to try to roll this until I clean my table off. But we still got it done, and we got it done in, a couple and a half hours. We have all of that in there nicely. The tote bag is all sewn up, ready to go. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I have no idea what next week's tutorial is going to be. Yeah, some people just do better in chaos and disorganization. Like, you can have a pile of papers here and you know that at the bottom third of it is the paper you're going to need, so you just flip it over, find the paper, and put it back and you're good to go. But God forbid someone comes by and moves this somewhere and, you'll never be able to find it again because they helped you by cleaning up. My brain works a certain way. When I need to find something, Rob would try to help me. And I'm like, please, I know you're trying to help me, but please just sit in your chair. And when I'm ready for help, I'll ask. But I need to touch things, and I know where it is. And as I touch things, my brain will say, okay, the last time we used these, we were making the apple tote. Okay, the last time we used this, we were doing this. So here it is. And if I touch things, I can find it. But if he just goes in like a bull in a china shop and moves everything around, I get totally lost and I can't find anything. You can put that on a t-shirt. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Enjoy your weekend. Everyone, stay safe. You'll see the puppy tote on Wednesday, and maybe if I finish these other dog totes this weekend, you might see those too. We'll see. I'll talk to you guys all later. Bye. Maybe. There we go.